do we have to do
A roll call, yes.
a roll call?
Oh,
All right,
Well,
so
we can dispense with the pledge, just do a roll call, yeah.
just the roll call for a committee of the whole?
Sure.
Okay. Matt, Mr. Ayer,
Here.
Mr. Bartlett?
Here.
I don't know, do I count you?
I'm not really on, I'm just.
No, you're not.
Mr. Mayor?
I'm just a happy guy.
Mr.
Ignore
Mayor.
him.
I'm just a happy guy. Mr. York?
Here.
Right, here. Okay. Is there any other formalities I need to?
Nope.
No. So we go to the agenda. Okay, so the first thing is, then we're gonna take 45 minutes for each agenda item. The first agenda item is the beginning conversation around long-term revenue for the village. This has been brought up in interim, like in fits and bursts throughout at least throughout my tenure, the last 4 years. And so having kind of a more structured conversation around what do we need to do or not do around ensuring long-term sustainability and at the village level through revenue. So the first thing I would like to do, and is Marcy expected? Do
I
we
was
know?
just gonna send her a quick text.
Okay, because I think it is important for her to be here. I'm hoping
Let me
she can
send her a
make it.
quick text.
Okay, thank you. So what today is about is not a debate about long-term revenue. It is to level set and for all of us to operate from the same set of facts so that we can have a meaningful conversation. And so that is what we're doing today. So today I would ask respectfully that ask clarifying questions. We don't want to engage in a debate today. But that debate needs to happen, and there needs to be thoughtful debate, and it is okay if there is taking an exception to something, note it, but this is not the time. We are bringing in our folks that know, have the expertise that line up with revenue to speak to this, and so we all are hearing the same thing, and then when we engage in debate, we all are operating from the same set of facts. Does that make sense? Okay, so with that, I would like to kind of turn over the floor a little bit to Kelly. Let's start, and Chuck too, I appreciate you being here immensely, to walk us through what you see in terms of tax revenue and what are the possibilities there. But I would like, Kelly, you have brought, you put together
Yeah,
some
and
documentation.
I did not put together a presentation. I was not asked to put together
No,
a presentation.
correct.
I
would
sent
like
that
you-
information out for the hopes that people had questions, they could ask the questions, and Matt did already ask me a question, so.
But I would like you to walk through it.
Too long.
If you could walk us through the documents that you sent out, I think that, again, the goal is to level set.
Not to interrupt, Marcy responded back, she's on the way.
Okay,
What is that for?
that's what you sent out?
I
Do you
have
have it?
yeah.
Yeah, if you could walk us through what you sent out.
A lot of numbers.
It's a lot of numbers.
Yeah, and basically what this is it shows for all the funds, the general fund obviously being the biggest one, where our sources of revenue are, and then for each fund where the sources of expenditures is, and each one is summarized by fund. The names of the accounts are pretty self-explanatory. I mean, for example, municipal income tax and checkable account says, that's where we get the bulk of our income, from the municipal income tax, and you can see that on the report, where it's over, you know.
Okay. So you walked me through some of this. So what I would like, if it's possible, Kelly, is, for example, we have kind of an exception in 2024 in revenue. I don't know if you want to speak to that.
I'm not sure what you mean by revenue. I mean, there's a lot of revenue categories.
Right, we had a bump in our tax revenue, a one-time cost in
Which one?
2024 that is reflected there.
Right, and that's Chuck's baby, sorry.
So then the question is, could you walk through any major variances in this?
For tax,
No, so that again, all of us are on the same page. If you walk us through this document and say, are there any major variances, any trends that you would like to flag?
in all honesty, no, I mean, the only bumps that we would have had in anything, because, you know, the property tax that we get is pretty much the same every year.
That's my dashboard.
You know, we get about $650,000 in the latter half of the year and about $700,000 in the first half of the year. So So that's always pretty much the same thing. Where we see some bumps is, like, for example, last year we had the big contributions for the pool, but those were contributions, that's a one-time thing. Same with the tennis that we had this year, or the pickleball. It was 106,000 plus, and that's a once, you know, that's not gonna happen again. Now, not to say that there won't be other fundraising efforts, but at this point in time, I'm not aware of any.
But we know that's in and out,
We do,
so.
we should.
You know, as far as a
So when you yeah.
level line, yeah.
And you'll see that down in
Sure.
Contributions, that those amounts will show up there. Well, and I think one of Matt's questions was, where's the money for the pool? And that's, you know, the revenue is in 4906, not in the general fund. So, you know, for example, 4903, that's Dogwood. All that money has been either contributions or grants, or, you know, expected grants. So not, you know, so I don't know if you want to know about just in general, monies that we see, or specific to money that the village gets because we're a village, as opposed to these contributions.
Well, I think it would be helpful for folks to know, so what are the top 5 sources of revenue for this village?
Municipal income tax, Hamilton County property tax. I mean, those are our main sources of income, and then we get, you know, we get local tax for here, and then we get some, well, Rick can probably answer what funds the alcohol and, fund, and the, well, safety services is another, levy, but it doesn't bring in a lot of money as the EMS
tax.
levy. So we have the general
Maybe those are property
operating
taxes,
fund
too.
levy, the safety services levy, EMS levy, Mary Elder's levy, which is in and out, dollar for dollar, and then the recreation, permanent improvement levy. And those all stem from when we get the property tax payment. And those, the property tax payment all gets broken down into the respective categories of that they fund. I don't know if there's anything that's standard
Yeah.
number 3 or 4.
And do you see any of those sources of revenue you have concerns about?
No.
Okay.
I mean, Chuck might speak differently, but, I mean, I don't see anything like all of a sudden Hamilton County saying, we're not paying you.
Okay.
I mean, the property tax conversation is in, you know, the state house, but, I think that would more affect the schools than it would us.
Currently, that is correct.
But if you look at it, our property, there's no, pending some legislation, there's no, I mean, we do have some abatements that will retire.
Yeah.
So if you look at, we don't need to concern ourselves, short of,
I agree, yeah.
with
I
property.
don't
We know
think-
that that's
right.
gonna be steady with some increase, so we know that that's not gonna change dramatically. Is that an accurate statement?
That is an accurate statement, yeah. And the other thing, though, that has come up again is the increase in the employer contribution to the pension. It's been a conversation, how many years, Joni? A handful of years. But it's, you know, it's reared its ugly head again, sorry.
And it'll pass.
And it will, but a matter of when. I mean, I would almost expect it to impact our 2027 budget. I don't think it'll do anything to 2026, they can't get it implemented that quickly.
So what does that mean operationally for us?
It means, I think it's going to be, what percent increase?
It would go,
1.5%
it would go from 19% to 24%
Over the course of 5 years.
over 5 years.
So it'll graduate up.
Yes.
Yes.
So what does that mean? And it may not be a fair, does that mean $10,000 a year, $20,000 a year? What does that mean?
What did you say we're currently?
Well,
Matt?
you would take the police budget, the police personnel, and multiply it out. I think each year it's going to go up by maybe 1%, 1.5%,
Yeah.
but overall, it's going to go up to 24%.
So from 19 to 24.
Right,
Over 5 years, is that right?
correct.
percent a year or so.
Okay.
Just clarifying point,
Yeah.
Chuck, would you say that the most variable?
Chuck,
in-
and Chuck's gonna present on the taxes here in a minute, too.
Oh,
Yep,
I
we've
thought
asked Chuck to come.
it was
in.
a sort of follow-on to what Kelly
Sure, You
said.
go ahead and ask Chuck those questions, but I do want you to know that Chuck is here also to present. Yeah.
I don't have a presentation.
The most variable part of the tax income is the net profit,
It is this year.
just because it
If
was,
you look across history, it stays pretty, things are pretty level, but last year was like, wasn't it? This is around the face. The anomaly that's not happening again.
so what do you think is the most variable of the incomes from the withholding or the personal tax or the net profit or anything I'm not saying?
Well, those are the three, withholding net profit and individual returns. Most variable, I guess would be net profit because it's the least. Withholding is usually the most, then individual and net profit because we don't have 50-acre manufacturing plants or offices and stuff like that. We're pretty much a bedroom community.
So if one goes, we could see a swap in there.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back and forth. I mean, we don't want to lose businesses from the industrial
Right.
zone because that would be automatic life support. I'll
Right.
tell you right now. So,
How is the capture of the work-at-home lunch?
it's good.
I mean, is it?
Yeah, I will say that I will give Mariemont credit. The residents are very honest people from where I came from. They're very, wanting to pay, they're not running from it, so.
Let's not name names here.
Yeah, so. Yeah, I don't have to chase it as bad as I did before, so.
And then Kelly, from your perspective, are there things that are unfunded or issues within the village that you feel like are going to need attention, in the next 5 years that just need to be on our radar?
Not really. I mean, besides the possibility of the increase in the pension for the police, that would be the big one. But, obviously, council has to work within the budget that we get, the funds that we know we're gonna get, and we have to work within that budget. So, and we've been, pretty solid for the last year, as long as I've been doing this, so I don't anticipate any hiccups, but obviously, council is well aware that we have to work within that budget. So, I guess.
So when you ask a question like that, were you are you talking about anticipating larger purchases of equipment and things like that in the future that we should be setting aside money for now? Did you mean?
Yeah,
that?
is there anything that we kind of it's gone unfunded and that we're flagging? I know that's part of our capital investment plan.
Well, I mean, like replacement of the ladder truck or something like that, or the bigger.
Yeah.
We have the replatforming. We're not gonna buy a new one, we're gonna replatform.
Well, even still.
We've talked about it.
It's
It's
gonna
a-
be a
Well, and
lot
that's-
We will, and it's gonna require us setting aside money over
Well,
2
that-
years.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to
Yeah,
ask.
Right.
and that was in that 5-year projection we did
Yes.
too.
You're doing that now, right?
Yeah.
It's built into the 5-year, yeah.
Yeah.
It's spread
Right.
over 2
So
years.
it's not gonna be like a surprise, because we're planning for it. We know that this is gonna happen, and we're planning for it, just like with the truck for Ben. We're setting aside money this year, and, seeing what happens next year. And again, that's the conversation we have in the second part of the meeting.
And from your perspective, Chris, I know you worked on that capital investment plan, 5-year plan. Is there anything that is currently underfunded in terms of the basic needs of the village or things that you want to flag as we are considering whether or not we are going to need flat revenue or additional revenue?
Well, I would look to increase the spending on the street paving, but a lot of that is our grant. So we were successful the first year in the sort of empty process, not so much now. That ebbs and flows with competition, all the grants are highly competitive.
So are you saying that you're concerned because if we don't get grants, we still need to invest in street
In
paving?
the street network.
And is that reflected, Rob, in
Mhm. Yeah, Chris submitted all that stuff as well. Like especially like the whole bluff. You had that in as one big
Yes.
project, and it's really clear we're not gonna be able to afford to do that. And then you mentioned we probably would have a better chance of getting grants if we broke it down a little bit as well.
Right, the grants are real susceptible to the condition of those segments, so if we paved it in the way it was built or the way we paved it in the last, that would be better advantageous for the village.
But that was part of the process too, so it's in there.
But we're having a problem with, would you agree, Rob, we're having a problem with streets because we're on this levy and it's decreasing dollars due to inflation. it's the same dollar value, but the price of the paving is going up. And I'm not sure that we've been with I think Chris put a plan together, but that's with the available dollars. And I'm not sure that plan will pave our streets as fast as they need to be repaved.
Okay.
I agree with you, Bob. I agree.
That's the larger issue there. Are we actually keeping up, with the amount of paving that we should be doing? Or every year we fall just a little bit behind, a little bit behind?
Yeah. Chris, what is your response to that?
So the average age of a street in the village is 18 years.
Okay,
So most of the streets I see, I pave when they're 30 years old. So we are doing better compared to a community like Cincinnati. Now, if you want to get to a Mason standard of every 12 or 15 years of paving, we need to put in some more dollars.
what is the best practice?
Pave more streets.
Well, yeah. But I mean, the
Is it
sooner
12,
you do it-
15 years? I mean, that's a great benchmark. What is,
yeah, the
that's
sooner
helpful
you
to
can-
know, yeah.
Yeah, ideally, I mean, if we can get the residential streets in 15 years, that would be fantastic. The state takes care of Booster Pike for us, and they pay that about every 20.
Okay.
So we would like to hit at least that with the residential, so we can do better. The 18 says we are, but I'd love to see it at 15.
All right. Chuck, do you want to walk us through really quickly, one, tax revenue, but also then what are the levers of revenue that we have available to us?
I can speak to the tax. I don't know the other levers. I mean, there are, well, we'll roll and see where we get here.
Yeah.
If you look at, I think Kelly sent out to everybody, there was, form had total actual dollars per month, then there were some other, like withholding that broke down. If you look at that page, total withholding averages 2.7, roughly 2.7 to 2.8 per year for 24 backwards. This year, we projected 3.1. Last year, we did 3.4. Again, we had the anomaly. I don't know that we're going to make 3.1 this year. I think we'll be more around probably 2.9. If you look at that last column, it's got the 2024 Q4 actual. Last year, if we do exactly what we did last year in the fourth quarter, we'll be at 2.8 million, 2.882. Fourth quarter projected is 6.095. If we hit projection, we'll do 2.947. But again, we get returns, extensions are starting to come in now. This is the first year that net profit returns extensions were not due until November 15th, so we get some of those in. I don't have on that sheet, but our average refunds from 20 to 24 were 81,672. I know that plays into effect because I collect gross, but I think in UAN, it nets out with the
Yeah.
refunds, so. Like I said, our biggest ones are withholding an individual. Net profit, I was thinking about what you asked, Bob. With net profits, we don't have a lot of companies. And, the old saying is, if you have really good accountants at your company, you don't make a lot of money anyway.
I never made any profit.
Yes, exactly. It's amazing, these companies that have billions and billions in revenue but lose millions of dollars, and they stay in business. So net profit is kind of just a little bit extra.
But we had an anomaly, but typically is that 5% of, or either a percent of the number of total?
We'll just look at, because Chuck provided it on the net profits
Yeah,
page
got it.
that he's got in here. I mean, the last year was 276, and before that was 204, then 271, so you can see.
Yeah.
The extra 500 that Chuck's talked about
Yeah.
jumps off the page because it's like really a high
Yeah,
year in
the-
2024.
Yeah,
The bottom, those percentages at the bottom, you'll see like percentages plus, minus, whatever. That percentage in bold is the percent to total.
Gotcha.
So, I didn't run averages for it, but like, 23, that profit was 9.47, last year was 22.59. So it was just crazy. That's not gonna happen again. Think of what else.
But it looks like we're trending dramatically lower in 2025.
Well, yeah, it's
Again,
gonna,
that's
it's
because
because
there
of
was
that.
500 in 2024.
Yeah,
that's
but
why
if you look at, 21, 22, 23, it's
Right.
250. We're not gonna hit 250.
Right, well, to Chuck's point, though, estimated tax payments this year are due November 15th versus
Yeah,
historically
the
it was September
returns.
15th.
This is, and again, this last column for 25, that's only through 3 quarters. So we still have one more quarter to get up close to those other numbers, hopefully at least meet.
But we've also lost a company or two down at the, backfilling in with others.
Yeah, that, which I don't know when they're starting.
They're,
The building sold, I know that.
yeah, and they're down there remodeling it right now. They're getting ready to get up to full operational production, whatever that is.
But once again, that won't show up as net profits till they get into production.
Oh, it won't, yeah, withholding. Our biggest thing is withholding.
Right.
That's
We
the
want
key.
payroll
We need jobs. We need jobs. And we do have, with the credit only being 1%, everyone pays at least 0.25 that has it. You know, the big thing is, you gotta remember, I don't know the exact percentage of retired folks in the village, but retired folks we don't get any tax on that, on retirement income, social security income, pensions. We get it on the front end. So, but yeah, I would say going forward, though, you were talking about 3 years, I think I saw the email. We're gonna be between 2.8 and 2.9 every year. That's our level, unless we get some, a huge company comes in and everybody's paid $1 million a year. But that's where we're gonna be. So planning going forward, I'd say make it 2.8, 2.9. Look for that to be your income tax, earnings tax.
Now, can you talk a little bit about different levers or tools for revenue that the council has at its disposal to increase revenue?
Well, from the tax point, you either raise the rate or you lower the credit given.
For options.
That, from taxes, that's all it is, that you'd have to either raise the rate or lower the credit.
What would the impact of lowering the credit be?
I think he put.
He put that
Yeah.
together for us.
It's on a sheet.
What is she,
It's not in mine, but-
well, I emailed these to everybody.
Did you get one? I have an extra.
Oh,
Here.
thank you. Thank you.
Did you want to see this, Mr. Avery? Yeah, I didn't print it. I have studied it, as you know.
Yes, I do know that.
That sheet is based on tax year 2023, because that's the last full year. We're still working on tax year 2024. And there it runs from, if you leave the tax rate the same, mess with the credit, then all the way up to if you change the rate and the credit, that gives you all the potential increases.
Does anybody have questions on this? What have you seen other municipalities or villages our size do in terms of increasing their revenue on the tax side?
How many years ago was that? When the state budget got balanced, I can remember how many years ago it was, and they did it without raising state taxes. That's because they quit sending local government funds back out to the villages and the cities. So you saw townships, Sycamore, Kenwood, they all, that never had
Yeah.
an earnings tax, they have earnings taxes. Other communities raise their taxes. So that's it. If you get to a certain point, you can cut expenses so far, but you still have to have revenue.
Right.
Because even if you keep the same revenue, the expenses go up. Even after all the cut, other expenses, your fixed expenses go up. So that's really, from a tax point, that's it.
Yeah. And so what you're seeing is a fixed amount of revenue.
We're pretty, the
And-
reason I say it stays at 2.829, we're not Liberty Township, we're not Westchester, we don't have
Yeah.
thousands and thousands of acres that haven't been developed yet. We are less than 1 square mile.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the saturation, because we're at that point now too. If, I get a new withholding, I opened 2 today. But then I gotta find out, so someone either just moved in, which means someone else moved out. So it's always just a give and take, and it depends on, it's, it's like an old joke at Norwood, we had some places to develop and everybody was up in arms wanting a Cracker Barrel. I thought, you're nuts. No, we want a mixed-use office building with
What? Doctors?
attorneys,
Or-
medical
Yeah.
offices, exactly. Yeah, we want a heart hospital. We don't want a Cracker Barrel. So, I'm sorry, Rob.
No, go ahead. You-
No, I'm just gonna say, I mean, again, we only have
Yeah.
We're
the
limited.
industry down there, the industrial zone, and then I think there's one empty over here next to the bookstore. We don't have a lot of,
Well, in all due respect, we have a lot of empty storefronts in the village.
is there more? I mean, I know the one I
You
passed
look-
over here.
you-
Yeah,
Tri-Health moved out, Eye Care on the Square is gone, the whole northeast, southeast corner of Chestnut and Elm is empty. So we could, there's stuff we can do.
Can I loop back real quick? One thing that,
But once again, the kind of businesses typically move in there are not gonna be your
High pay.
surgeons and the other.
Well, you can get architects and things like that.
You know,
so,
the one thing I would, just to build on Chuck's comments, the one thing that we will get is, most years, people get a cost of living increase in their pay, right?
Right.
So that will flow through. So, if somebody gets a 3% pay increase or something like that, our revenues will go up for that. But I agree that there's limited, there are some opportunities, but not big paying jobs.
Yeah, we're,
You know,
we'll increase a little bit, but we're not gonna get a big jump. We need,
yeah, it'll be 3% or something like that, because it's in the history too, you can see it.
so your analysis is if tax growth is not going to meet the additional rising costs, fixed costs that the village is
I
experiencing.
think over time, no. But I mean, again, it's projections. You can project
Yeah.
whatever, you can and think whatever, but I'm more conservative. I can tell you, I've never, as a tax administrator, I have never, ever bumped, I shouldn't say never, ever, because I'm not sure I did this year, 3.1, but I never usually went more than 1%, just to stay conservative, because I used to be a council person. It's a heck of a lot easier come September, began fourth quarter, to add appropriations than all of a sudden, yeah, we need to cut $1.5 million.
Yeah.
Been there. It's not fun. So you're better off projecting and staying a little bit under, and then
Yeah,
be able to under-promise, over-deliver. So,
So Susan, the other thing we haven't addressed here is, Kelly touched on property taxes. Right, abatements are supposed to be coming off. So the question is, are we seeing the income? Because that was a 50% abatement. 15-year, 50% abatement. So the question is, because that would be a bigger increase from a percentage standpoint versus the 3% we're talking about for salary increases, if you get to have some of that. And so I think we need to better understand, is it showing up? And if it's not showing up, why?
yeah.
Because
Well-
Richard spent a lot of time with the folks down there at the Hamilton County area trying to get the data from them
Yeah,
about.
and let's all bear in mind, whatever increase we get, we still get a small percentage of that for the
Sure.
village.
It's like, what,
So-
8% or something like that, roughly?
Yeah.
8%.
Okay, so the question is, what is the expiring abatements? What kind of revenue does
Well,
that
that's a
translate
question
to?
I-
Well, and again,
that-
go ahead.
And that revenue is based on the prices that those places are selling now, right?
It should be, yeah.
Yeah, so
If
if
it
they've
is,
decreased, if they've decreased or stayed the same.
Yeah.
'Cause I
But
think,
they're-
I think overall, they are not selling for as much, but.
Yeah,
Not as much as originally, I totally agree.
yeah.
But they're still, the baseline is those apartment buildings that were there before them.
Yeah, a lot
Right.
better.
So
Right.
that's where the starting point was when you get the 50% abatement.
Yeah.
So, to your point, yeah, Marcy, they sold up here, so now it's gonna come down some, but it's still, the starting point is here in terms of what those property values of those apartment buildings were. And again, Richard spent a whole bunch of time, I think I sent you that spreadsheet that he did, that captured, that he got a download from the Hamilton County
I mean,
office.
that's a question for the county, I'm happy to ask the question.
That'd be great.
But, they're the ones that do the valuation, not us.
Okay, so that would be an outstanding
Let
question.
me ask you a
for us,
question.
yeah.
Do we know collectively, taking our expenses, our total expenses collectively, do we know what our annual rate of increase is in those expenses? Do we have a projection on that?
Well, we usually bump everything by 3%
Well,
from year to year, but,
is that the actual number?
No, 'cause what you'd have to do though is you'd have to peel out the things like the permanent improvement, because that swings, right? What projects we get done in a certain year, and sometimes the streets, the amount of streets. So to your point, Billy, what you wanna look at is you wanna look at general fund, safety services fund, EMS fund, and sort of see what those are trend lining like.
Mm-hmm.
Because the other ones can vacillate a lot, but those are more, okay, here's your cost of living increase, and here's, inflation, what the inflation impact's been. You get a cleaner read by looking at those things than you will at
Well, I
looking at
guess
the,
I'm asking, are we just pacing inflation, or are we out ahead of it, probably?
Well, let's,
don't know.
Okay.
I took Kelly's report and did my own version of it, where I fit it on one page, so that's how bad I did. But you start out with the ending balances in the accounts, and I ignored 4903 and 4906, because those are one-time.
Come in and go out, right, right, right.
Yes, yes, those are not
In
profit.
2023, if we take the total of the general fund and all the other funds, other than the two I mentioned, we end up with $2.455 million at the end of the year. So we have, I'll use that year as an example, sitting in those individual funds, and I realize we have to have enough in them to fund through April or May. But we had $1.176 million sitting there.
But remember, the 2025 is only up through October. And this is cash expenditures.
Well, I was using 2023.
Okay, so you were just doing the two?
And then if you do it for '24, the general fund ended up at 1.956, and added 1.213. Combining the two, that's 3.160. So those numbers are going up. But a lot of it has to do with the amount of, I'll say, unspent funds in all of these individual accounts. And so on that basis, it seems we're doing okay. And I want to go back to your previous question. Another one of our big concerns is the cost of replacement equipment. When we talk in the next meeting, there's a total request in there of $250,000 for 3 vehicles on that order. And I think the price of these vehicles are going up much faster than our overall inflation and wage rate. So if you ask what a risk is, I think I'll call it equipment replacement. I'm very concerned about that, because, our safety services and our service department need equipment to do their job. They can't do their job without it, but that means the pot for the rest of it is shrinking very quickly.
That's important thank you.
So you're talking about year-end cash balance. So I'm showing year-end cash balance at the end of '24 of 2.8 million.
For all funds?
Yes.
I'm not showing that.
Yeah, I'm not sure where,
I don't know where you got that.
I see for all.
I got this from what you put together for that town crier article.
Well, what I did is I took her cash flow dump,
So
that
what,
16 pages or whatever it was.
so what was that number at the end of '24?
It's 3.8, I believe, is what the ending cash value
Oh,
total.
I took out the stuff that was in there for
Okay, so you,
pool and.
It's
Yeah.
3.169 then,
yeah,
what I
yeah.
got.
Yep, I'm with you.
At the end
I'm
of
with you.
2024.
Correct.
Yep.
We'll get together, okay. So, I think that we agree that we're landlocked, we could develop some business, but it's not gonna move the needle.
not a lot, yeah.
So, I think that Chuck's 2.6 and 2.8 is probably pretty accurate moving forward. Does that go up with inflation or with wages every year? Do we account for that? And I'm not sure, do you do 3%? Do you do all that? I really believe that we should account for these, the pension for moving forward. I think that's a good idea. Susan, I think we all agree, if this property tax thing happens, it's gonna be chaos for every municipality in the state. So,
Absolutely.
that's gonna be such an explosion that
Yeah.
there'll have to be relief somehow. I can't see them doing this without offering relief. So I don't think we have to account for that. So I think if we account for Chuck with some modest growth there, account for the pension, account for the abatements coming off. That should give us a pretty good number. And then a separate conversation is, you know, does the pool need to be addressed? Are we behind on streets? Where's our equipment and so forth? So, you know, I think if we look at all that, but this shows, first off, we have to see where's the revenue gonna go? And if we need to pull a lever, like you talked about, of reducing the rate and so forth, I
But
think
there are
that's something we can do unilaterally, correct?
It's my understanding, yes, but I think
Was
we have.
far-
The offset, you're talking the offset
The
only.
offsets.
Yeah,
Yep.
the
Right,
offset.
the credit, yeah.
Mhm, the credit
Well,
offset.
And there's also other options, I think, like passing a levy, if
Mm-hmm.
that's, or increasing a levy, things like that. So there are other options as well.
But if I remember when we had this conversation before, it was something that this body could pass
Yeah.
to say
Just the offset.
right.
Yeah, okay. So, because I'm looking at the clock here, so outstanding questions for when we reconvene to have a conversation around long-term sustainability.
I've got one quick
Yeah.
question for Chris. You talked about roads. How confident are you with respect to the forecasted needs for storm sewer repairs and replacements?
Low,
Low confidence.
low confidence,
And
because you
so-
just can't see them.
And
Yeah.
are we doing what we should be doing proactively to investigate a proper percentage of them every year so that we know what we've got?
We are not. Once again, it goes to how much do you wanna spend. I worked up something maybe a decade ago that would cost, $50,000 a year to do some kind of annual inspection of, and it wouldn't be annual, you have to rotate the village through, a 5-year or 7-year plan of looking at all the storm sewers. So, it wasn't adopted at the time because of cost.
Wouldn't you, as the village engineer, recommend that we at least do some portion of those every year, starting ASAP? Because we just don't want to have some $1 million surprise one year.
Right.
Okay, so that's, are there any other major infrastructure issues that you have low confidence in relative to estimates?
Well, the storm sewer, I think, would be the biggest one. The metropolitan sewer districts take care of the sewers for us, so that's not something we have to deal with, same with the water lines. So the storm sewers are gonna be the biggest thing.
And most of them are 100 years old, right?
Exactly, because of the age of the village. Yeah.
Okay,
No, I mean, the other thing is just the wall next to the rail line going into Bulkmatic. That's, technically, the structure is not ours, but it affects the road underneath, which is ours. But it's a railroad issue, I don't think we're gonna get any movement on them to fix the size of that wall. But that's one other thing I can think of.
Chris, would it be possible for you to make us a recommendation with respect to how much you think we should put into the pot for storm sewer investigation, or,
Yeah.
inspection, I guess is the right word?
Right.
I think that'd be very helpful, because I think that's not something we want to get way behind on, because it will really bite us.
is it helpful to do that, and I'm not trying to overstep here, is it helpful to do that with street upkeep too, or no? Is that a lot of, and I don't know how much work we're asking of you at this point.
Yeah, let me take a look at it.
Well, Chris does a review of the streets.
You do
once-
that.
Street every
I-
day.
Yeah, it's
I
usually
can- I can
rating.
Look at the sewers that I can see from as I do the street drive. So obviously, if there's a sinkhole or something like that, we can deal with that because we can see it from the top. But I think the question to Matt's point of view is, do we scope the televised, do we televise the sewers that we can't get to?
Yes,
Do we open the manholes
Right.
and look at, and maybe we start with the pipes that are large size.
I guess relative to street repair, do we have to, if we're not getting grants, still invest in our street repair to get to a 15, 16, 17-year turnover? Do we have to plan on investing there for if those street grants are more competitive? And we're not getting them.
That, I guess that's a further discussion point,
I would be careful about using Mason as a benchmark for us.
Well, right now it's at 18, right?
You know, because I heard Chris say 2020 is more of maybe a, I heard you say that was sort of, was that city of Cincinnati? What you said, is that?
So in the city of Cincinnati, yeah, they average 30 years on the residential streets. In a municipality like Mason, I think they can pave them in 12 years.
Yeah.
So,
But you said somebody else was 20. What would, you said something was 20, I don't
oh,
know.
the state, Booster Pike, it's paid about every 20 years.
Okay.
So that's
Not
a
a fair
free
fight.
pay program.
Do
So I
we-
agree with, it's better for us to know if we've got this liability hanging over our heads or not. And I may be naive, but it seems like I get a lot of opportunities for stormwater grants. Is that,
Okay. I guess I'll take your word for it. I haven't seen a lot of stormwater. You know, we, with the school that I work with, it was a hard time to get that grant. And that was only residual funds from COVID.
that was ARPA stuff?
Yeah,
Okay, all right.
exactly.
So, so do the capital, if we are looking at our capital needs, does it reflect accurately? Are there any assumptions made relative to our streets about getting grants versus those funds needing to come from the general fund?
We did, we put in the 30%. Because that was, we've said we can't go, as, you know, the public works, we've realized you can't ask for 50% anymore, you gotta ask for like a 30%. So that's what we've lowered it down to, is hoping that we get a grant will cover 30% of the cost, is what's built in currently.
And we still didn't get something this past year. To the overall point I think you're driving to,
Well, it's just information as, is there more funds on top of the sewer health that we need to account for that we're not currently accounting for?
well, I'm
Or
gonna violate
consider.
one of your rules, and I'm gonna draw a conclusion. The fact it is, we are very tight, okay? But I think we're okay for the coming year. I don't think it would be a bad idea to revisit this subject about this time every year when we're putting together the capital improvement budget and we're all sort of focusing in on some numbers. And I think Chuck gave us an outstanding way to increase revenue from our income tax.
Well, and I think that we're gonna have another, committee of the whole to discuss, how do we wanna do anything with this information? How do we wanna think about this information? Are there next steps? So we'll create some space to have that conversation, and maybe the next step is every year we have this. Maybe there is, the next step is we wanna explore additional revenue. But those are things we can debate in the committee of the whole for the next meeting.
I understand that, but I'm just saying, from my perception, I don't see any crisis that's on top of us this second.
Correct.
But I don't want to put the head in the sand and say, we don't have any problems.
Right.
This is just it could be suddenly, certain things happen, and it could cascade on us.
Yeah. No, and,
I have one last comment. And I agree that what Chuck put together is very helpful, where it shows where if we, what we can do with the earnings tax, but something that we just kind of we spent very little time this year on was voters are going to go in and decide whether or not they're going to renew the levy that we have on the ballot. And it says 5 mils, and the information is this will not raise your taxes, which is absolutely correct. It will not. But what residents don't understand is that since it's been so long since that levy passed, and since it brings in the same amount of money each year, it doesn't, the actual effective rate of that levy is now 1.8%, I think it is. So what people see is 5, but what we're really getting is 1.8, because we haven't done a replacement, is that the right word, replacement levy, or a new,
Yes.
whatever you want to call a new levy. So that's something where, as far as those levers go, we may want to do a 5 mil levy sometime to make up, because that 1.8 is just going to keep going down.
Well, the point I was making was, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I recall what that would do on income to the village
Right, that's correct.
is small compared to some of these numbers on this page.
Yeah, but you gotta remember, if you go fiddling with those numbers that are on that page, in a way, you're taxing people without their input.
Right.
And you.
I understand that.
Very careful about that.
So-
A levy, a levy's a dirty word with a lot of taxpayers, but at least it's open and it's honest. They know what we're doing.
I understand that, but also it,
I apologize, because what we're gonna do, I wanna just summarize, because I think we have another piece here. What are the next steps, and what's the information that you guys want at the next committee of the whole around revenue? I have abatements, I have general fund expense, I'm gonna say trends or growth relative to inflation.
In revenue too, we gotta look at both, right?
Okay. Expense and revenue, trends relative.
And it's not just the general fund, it's also safety services and EMS would be in there as well.
Right, and that's why that report shows 3 years.
Okay. And then we have to do that relative
what I
to inflation. Then we have the pension increase impact. Is that something?
potential.
Potential impact. And then we have the storm sewer assessment, ongoing cost. That, and then we want to learn a little bit more about just levies in general, and what other if how that works as well. What role, how long it would take, when we need to consider it. Okay. All right.
There's one other piece, if I can throw this out as a potential, because Tony found this at one time, Borgarding, because we had the conversation years ago, was, so how do we compare to other communities around us? Like, Terrace Park doesn't have an income tax, but they have a lot higher property tax. And so I think it would be good for us to understand, so what are people around us doing in terms of both property taxes and income taxes?
I will do my best to get that information. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I
so,
have, Susan, I have, because of my analysis I did before, the rates, what percentage of property or taxes that each community gets.
okay,
And we're on the low side, but I can get those to you.
that'd be awesome, thank you. Thank you, guys. I just want to allot enough time for the next conversation. I appreciate that. And then the final piece is, I guess I'll work with you guys to schedule another committee of the whole, perhaps, if everybody's around in 2 weeks. Similarly, I think in 45-minute chunks. And thank you, Chuck, for being here after hours. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Kelly. All right, moving on now to the next piece. I'm going to turn it over to Rob.
No, this is your meeting.
Yes, exactly.
In these
I see the
She's gotta
floors,
get it right.
exactly right. I see
Yeah,
the floors.
turned it over to you.
Hey, Bill,
Prerogative.
Bill,
So
is
walk
the,
us
is the
through,
municipal, is that building, is that room
The
unlocked?
priorities.
The office?
Yeah,
I think so, yeah.
okay.
Chuck, thank you, that was great.
Thanks, Chuck.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chuck.
Have a good one.
Do you want to wait for Marcy?
I'm sorry?
Do we want to wait for Marcy to come back?
Oh, yes. Okay.
I'm gonna show how it's- if it's locked. Jerry, is the door locked?
I didn't lock it.
Oh, you
I
didn't?
think she's probably just going to.
All right, well, everybody, we get to take a little break. Yeah, you know what? It was so interesting, Ben. Accessible vehicles have doubled in price in the last 3 years.
Wow.
They went from 25,000 to 50,000. It's it's real. That is real. 100% increase. Same vehicle.
Well,
What was
that's,
that?
Our accessible vans,
Oh,
they went from, we were able to get them for about $25,000 at a base model. They cost now just over 50.
No, but I think the,
Oh, okay.
No,
but
these
I think
are.
this is where I had the
private
asterisk, right?
sector.
There was something I was
Yeah, we
excluding.
purchased our fleet.
The one, it
Incredible. It was, it's a sticker shock.
Because this is,
ours went up, not like that.
but, well, Marcy's back.
I mean, I used to be able to buy them and outfit them for about 50, a little more than 50. Now it's,
Yeah, it's nuts. So much. All right, everybody, let's get moving. Rob, you want to walk us through this process?
Okay, so, on the very first handout that you have, that was in the council packet stuff, is, on the left-hand side are all the projects that, what I did is followed similar to what Matt did last year, just averaged all of the council scores, and then I took this to rank them, right? So that 2.0 sidewalk repairs is at the top of the list. It averaged a score of 2.00. The trellises, 3.17. So I'm just explaining, I'm not gonna go through all the whole list. I think, where's Kelly? Hey, Kelly. You and I talked, I mean, the real focus is not what's the total rank order, it's really more, what are the bottom 2 or 3? Because those are the ones we may have to wait to see if we have enough funds to go do those in 2020. Because that's when you're gonna have the permanent improvement meeting at the second meeting in November.
Right.
So again,
We actually
we're
start
not-
assigning dollar amounts.
I wanna be really clear, we're not deciding what projects are gonna get funded or not.
Correct.
Kelly's gonna come to us at the second meeting in November and say, here's how much money I'm projecting that will be available, and here's how much each one of these projects had said they needed, so where's the cutoff? But right now, tonight then, we're just saying, what are the bottom 2 or 3 projects? We don't need to get into arguing about which number 5 versus number 6 or any of that other kind of
I
stuff.
think bottom 3 is
Yeah.
safe to go.
Yeah. So,
So that's enough, because this is $689,000,
yeah.
and we have.
We receive over 400,000 a year, and we also have stuff that we're not getting done this year, the money's gonna carry forward over to next year. So Kelly and I looked at this,
Well,
but not all of it. So again, that's where we gotta wait. We gotta see where things shake out.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well,
And I think we're gonna have less carryover
If you add
because
up
we-
everything on the list,
It's not
it's.
but Kelly's made a good point. There's less carryover because we added a couple projects
Yep,
at the end of the
yep.
year.
much, yeah, significantly
Right.
less carryover.
So we'll find out. We'll find out in the second
Well,
meeting in November.
I'd like to talk about a strategy for this rather than just, all these projects were worthwhile projects. There was not a one there that's, it's a dog. And, what I did, and I'm not saying it's right, but I asked, which of these projects would help eliminate a future liability for the village? The second category was how to protect existing property from future damage. You know, you were talking about the boathouse roof, accidents waiting to happen. And we have 3 or 4 of those projects. And complete projects that are underway. And the stormwater, and then I didn't put the vehicles in here because at the prices that were listed there, I was evaluating at that price, not at what we could do it for if we made some adjustments. And my personal feeling is we should wrap up the things we have started or underway and put off new projects to 27.
Whoa.
Well,
That's
no,
a big
I'm
jump.
ser-
That's a big jump.
Well, but I'm talking about if we haven't started them, and, you know, let's get done, the boathouse roof. Let's get done this building. Let's get,
We haven't started the boathouse roof, so that would be one of the ones we'd have to hold off on.
no, but it's one of the ones that has.
Now you're just
If
changing.
we don't do it, I'm protecting existing property from future damage.
Mm-hmm.
That roof is in bad shape. We've all discussed that.
So you're asking for everybody to reconsider their vote?
Well, I'd like to have a strategy on this and not just, here's a list, this one sounds good, and this one sounds good, which I think
But
I
That was
started
the whole
out
point
as.
of doing this.
I think what you're saying is almost a criteria or rationale for the score.
I think so.
But,
But that's why you were all asked your opinion.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
but we didn't have it, we were asked our opinion and we put numbers on without discussing it. I was hoping,
But I'm assuming we all looked at this and said, I'm going to do the right thing for the village of Mariemont, which is what I did. And I'm
Well-
assuming everyone else did that.
Yeah.
You did the same thing.
yeah, I understand.
So our criteria was a little bit different. You know, I actually threw on top of this what I thought we could potentially get funding for, because there were a couple that I thought maybe we could get outside funding. So I added that on the side of my desk when I thought about it. And I thought about projects we could realistically get done next year. So those were 2 things that went into my analysis that maybe others did, maybe they didn't. But I think the bottom line is, what is best for the residents of the village of Mariemont is what, I think what the
Well,
criteria. we all-
everyone,
But I would-
everyone acted on that, I think.
But
yeah.
I would agree that in future exercises, please consider, I mean, a little instruction, please consider, you know, future liability of the village, protecting existing improvement, those kind of things. You know, I was encouraged, because one of the things I was gonna ask you about, was the range, you know, like where it went from when. But when I see that, pretty much, for the most part, the priorities between council and the department heads were pretty much, you know,
Not a big deal.
in sync. So that encouraged me in that sense. That, because certainly those are things that department heads would consider too. And it was kind of gratifying to see that each
agree.
department head didn't put, you know, their stuff at the top necessarily at the expense of other.
I agree, and that's what I sort of, at the bottom, when I colored the stuff in yellow, highlighted in yellow, I tried to your point, Marcy, I tried to sit there and say, okay, these are the bottom 5 projects for council and the bottom 5 projects for department heads. And where are they the same? And there's 3 of the 5 that actually were at the bottom for both groups, taken separately, totally separately. So,
But I don't think it hurts to have a discussion about how we prioritize and whether there should be a less arbitrary. Or whether, I mean, 'cause, you know, I think that's good that you wanted to look at it from another perspective, because you know,
One of the things I wanted to make sure this group was aware of has been the damage to the statue over the past 2 winters. There's been granite chipping off, there's been other damage there, and we haven't talked about it in this body.
Yeah.
But the point is that protecting that, to me, is a very high priority. And it's only, if there was no acceleration of damage, I'd say, put it off. But I think there is an acceleration of damage, and that's what concerns me. And we have not talked about that. Those are the kind of things I'd like to talk about, project by, you know, does these have special issues? And I noticed the statuary cover was low on a bunch of ratings, and that's fine, if that's the way people feel. But once again, it's a 10% match to get it done.
so, Biff, can you speak to that a little bit?
I'm glad to, thank you. I'm not privy to your rank ordering here, so I have no idea. I'm getting a feeling the statuary is not at the top of the list. A couple things. One, if you'll recall, this is part of the centennial, the things that the village was part of it. Here we are 3 years later. I mean, it's, thank goodness Dogwood's gone. This is, I wouldn't say it's stuck, but it's at a tipping point here. And Randy made a very good point, a relevant point actually, to using the ability to get other grants as part of his rationale here, which makes a lot of sense. The problem, one of the problems we've had here is that because this project is so unique, we're having a very difficult time finding grants that we qualify for. And this is, you know, you find, well, it's a statuary, it's a piece of art, these kind of things. You find the things, and then you get into them, and you find out, oh, no, if it's new construction, nope, we don't do that. Don't even bother. So that's been a problem for us. Just as a reminder, we came, it's been 2 years now since we put this out for bid. The bids, of course, were almost twice what the estimates that the architect had given to us. We've been working very closely since then with the architect and the structural engineering, and also went back to not only, well, one of our bidders was kind enough, pro bono, to give us an updated estimate. We have other estimates as well. And as Bob points out, we're about 90% there. We have about $480,000 right now available for this project. And probably, I think there's a good chance if we put it out for bid, and I'd have to maybe talk to Chris about this, whether, and Kelly perhaps, when we're able to do that, we might even get a bidder to come in at that number. Or if not, we find out what the new number is. But I'm pretty certain that and I believe $50,000 was the number that was in the last meeting that I was here. With that number, I'd feel very comfortable that we could probably get this project done. The project that we had 2 years ago? Did it include a lot of landscaping and other stuff? No. It's been reduced in scale. We've eliminated a number of things. Basically, we've done just about everything we can to keep the shelter over this and keep the appearance almost, I would say, to most people, they would say, I don't see any difference, and that's good. That's what we're aiming for. So Doug Zemke and I had an interesting experience where, as you may know, we're working on a museum over at the Ferris House, trying to bring some people through. We were bringing the Aaron Rothfuss from the Mary Elders, and she was very interested. Her group is very interested, and the first thing she said was, I'm going to tell you, and this is out of the blue, if you come to visit our people, be prepared, because one of the first things they're going to ask you is, when is that statuary going to get covered? And it really was wow, I thought we were talking about the museum, but she says, oh no, that's a big deal. So I would remind you that people still are expecting this, and as has been mentioned here, the costs aren't going down. So I think it would be, we would really like to see whatever we can do to
So
help
if
get
the
this funded and
village
getting done.
puts up 50K, you're saying there's 430,
480.
80.
480, that 50K leverage is 480,000. That's already raised.
480,000 is
In the
a money
bank.
market
In-house.
fund right now.
Yeah,
It's in a bank.
okay, thank you. What, anybody else have questions on?
I do have one follow-up. If you could refresh my memory, I think it would be helpful for the people who aren't involved at MPF to know. And what percentage of that 480 is like donation and what is grant money?
Well,
Just approximately.
of the 480, okay, I'd say about 75, 80% is grant money. I think the MPF, through contributions to various campaigns, raised almost $100,000. So, as everybody may or may not recall, Randy and I certainly do, that the Emory Memorial gave us $500,000, and we shared that, or
Yeah, 150 went to Dogwood, 350 went to the statuary.
and you did an absolutely fantastic job in getting grants from all over the place, because I helped furnish the financials on a lot of them. But as I said earlier, it was our trouble. It's not that we weren't trying, but you'd say, oh, wow, this is great. This is all about statuary. Well, yeah, but not putting permanent new structures over the statuary. That's the challenge, so.
So,
And it's appropriate, so go ahead, Marcy.
thanks. My follow-up question, what I was asking in a roundabout way, and I should know the answer to this, but has MPF gone, just specifically on this project, with a major fundraising campaign to like the community for more donations, like for this project specifically,
We had on a Giving Tuesday
right?
last year.
Right.
And NPF matched what we got from that.
Right,
But, as far as another drive, no, we have not. I would say that,
because I would say a lot of residents don't understand the dire situation. Because, you drive by it, you don't walk up and look at it.
that's fair. But, we had, the village had a significant drive, and it wasn't
For a
that long ago.
centennial
The
project.
Centennial Project, of course.
There was one after that too, I believe, about a year ago.
Hey,
Okay.
Biff, I got a question for you, or maybe it's a suggestion. We recently had over the past 2 years, two major fundraising drives within the village of Mariemont. One was to construct what I like to call the Toddler Aquatic Center. And the other one is
The pickleball.
for the pickleball. And the approach that was used in both, and very highly successfully, was to communicate the need very clearly, and then have personal meetings with potential donors and go over that with, with specific, and just asking people, present the information and ask people if they'd like to help. Very, very low pressure, but really just getting that information out. And those were, I think the pool was 170,000, pickleball was 106 or something like that. And that money was raised very efficiently and very quickly. Wouldn't something like that be effective for MPF to do, just kind of say, hey, pickleball and pool people, show us how you did this. And follow that same pattern. I feel like 50,000 would be something that the community might be able to come up with.
I can't say they wouldn't, but I think it's interesting because is there fatigue from that kind of thing?
It's possible.
It's very possible.
It's
yeah.
possible, but then
Yeah.
again, too, I can only speak for myself, because a lot of people have a giving threshold each year that, kind of planned giving every year, and you kind of tickle their fancy with a particular project this year, and then maybe another one the following year. So
Yeah.
I mean, I appreciate what you're saying about the fatigue of being asked every year for some other darn Mariemont project, but I think it would be, personally, I think it'd be worth trying.
Okay, well,
I mean, I do know that you sat down with individual people one-on-one, for a fact.
true, yes.
I was one of them.
Yeah.
Still owe you a check.
Yeah.
Sorry.
MBF is in an interesting role here. I don't want to, we're keeping an eye on time.
Right.
But this is a project that was started by MPF before my time on the board even. And as it was gaining momentum and starting to get a little more clarity, here comes the centennial, so it gets pushed into that. My position, when I came on the board 7 years ago, and he has to be the treasurer, was why are we doing this? This is village property. It's a village statuary. We don't have Chris's skill. Who's gonna write this, the bid stuff? Maybe the village ought to be doing this. Why don't we just be the purse, which is kind of where it was, and so the money came through us. For Dogwood, we ended up making, once the number was arrived at, we just went through the process within MPF, give a grant to the village for that amount of money. And that's been suggested just by some of our board members. Well, what the heck, just take this 480 and say, here to the village, there, you guys do it. This ain't our project, we were the purse. We got grant money, we raised some money. This is the centennial, finish it. Well, we're not doing that, but we could use some help.
I also want to point out that the 50Ks are the same order. If you look at the two projects you mentioned, Matt, that the village threw into those projects.
It's true.
That's a good.
So I'm just saying,
Yeah, it's true.
So,
I just think it's worthwhile to consider this one as well. That's
could
all.
I ask Rob quickly on the timing for a council vote on these projects? What is the timing?
So again, the second meeting in November is going to be the first cut at the Permanent Improvement Fund for next year. But that doesn't lock it down, because I want to loop back a little bit to something, Bob, you said I think would be a good point here, is right? You talked about the expensive cars and stuff like that. Well, I know when we had the meeting, there was, Bill and some others had raised some ideas. Well, why don't we buy it used, some of the stuff, right?
Exactly.
And so, we talked about that for the dump truck. We talked about that for the assistant fire chief vehicle. It's like, because we put in there new for all these things. And so that would help free up money that we could use then if we're tight on money. Again, that's still to be determined, but.
Sure, but we have really tapped into both those permanent improvement funds this year.
Yeah, so I think that's the thing that would be really helpful when we reconnect at the second council meeting in November. If we can start to look at some of these things that were called out to say, can we get these things used and maybe save some money there that would free up money to be able to take on more of these projects?
Would council be comfortable if we took the next 15 minutes and also highlighted any other projects that warrant perhaps, or people feel warrant some additional discussion, and then do just another round of voting, and as a council fully informed, so that we have a final
So
number?
I'm gonna send out these spreadsheets all again and ask everyone to fill them out all over again?
No.
We could, we have them already, we could fill them out again,
Good.
and then send them back.
And the department heads and everything, so.
That seems like a
Just
double edged.
council would just be us.
Just be council.
It doesn't seem fair to ask for data from a group of people one time and then different people the next, a more limited audience the next time around.
I mean, we could, if it's.
Well, another thing that we could do possibly is we have, what's the count of the total projects? It's like 17 or
17.
is change this into a ranking, rank them 1 through 17, and then, but in discussion, maybe we'd flip a few of the rankings, and again, we're only talking about the ones that are at the bottom 4 or 5.
Yeah, well, and again, so,
So for example, Rob, I want the opportunity, with the Dale Park project, I feel like I was not as informed as I could have been for that particular project. So I would like to potentially change my ranking. Is there space and a way to do that that you would be comfortable with?
well,
You can do it at
to
the
Kelly's
next
point,
meeting.
I think you would want to do that for every project then,
Okay.
right?
Right.
I mean, Ben should be able to come in here.
Why not?
and
Yeah,
hear
so we're
all
just
this
gonna
thing,
repeat
so-
the exercise?
Yeah, essentially,
just
we're
doesn't
repeating the
sound like-
exercise. So,
Sure.
because you want to give
Okay.
that same fair chance to everybody,
Well, I
right?
was gonna say that we'll take the next few minutes here to go through and say, are there anything else that we wanna flag as for conversation?
You mean add to the list?
No.
Just anything else of concern that you think might need to be more exploration.
But again, we don't have.
And/or explanation.
Yeah, so, but again, we don't have, Ben's not here to represent his stuff, right? And,
Yeah.
and his scored fairly well for the most part, you know, and so it's like,
Right.
okay, is there, again,
So
I
if
feel
your
like we
point-
need to have it equal
Yeah,
for everyone to have a
representation.
chance, to be able to share why am I asking for
Well,
this money?
I would
What
say
is it?
though, from a perspective, the department heads, live and breathe this, they know the ins and outs. This is the chance for some of the community members to say
Like-
what they're concerned about, so that would be the distinguishing factor for me, but,
What do you mean, community members?
well,
Like, do it.
so you did not fill out a
I
ranking.
did not.
Yeah.
So we're
No.
gonna
There was
send it
not
to
space there.
everybody?
Well,
How do we decide when to
Well,
stop?
this was a public meeting, anybody could shut up.
well, I think
Well,
people
right.
can make comments, but
Yeah.
I would ask it a little different way, is if any individual wanted to re-rank their projects, from the discussion we'll have in the next 10 minutes and what we've had already, could Rob entertain that?
Sure. I mean, I could rerun them. Again, I'm just thinking about a fairness thing, is all I'm thinking
Yeah,
about.
mean,
you
I
should
understand.
Ben-
No, right, that's the
should
right
Ben
question.
present his case? Should, I
yes.
mean, in
Well, he
my
would-
view, if that's
well,
the case, everybody
I don't
should have
really-
a chance to present their.
I don't really feel like Biff presented a case or a plea. I think he just explained where they are and what their thinking is.
Okay, so can Ben come in and explain his
Sure.
position?
I would like to have everybody have that opportunity, if that's the route we're gonna go.
I will sit down. I will yield my time, but I.
Well, but the
I
difference
well,
is,
passing thought. I've had a number of occasions in the last several months, spend time with Lee Carter. And he asks, when is that statutory gonna be covered? I mean, that was an expectation from day
Yeah.
one.
I understand, thank you.
well, and I don't think, I mean, what Biff just talked about is comparable to department heads making requests. I mean, he didn't specifically make a request. As far as I know, there hasn't been a formal request from MPF to the village. Is that correct?
No, that's correct. Yes, we've not,
So, I mean, that's not really comparing apples to say that. That's
What
my
about
point.
Conflict of interest.
I did talk to Ben, before I filled out my sheet, and the order they were listed in that he had were his 1, 2, 3 priorities.
Yep.
I just want to make sure, since someone mentioned Ben, that he did, and I took that information into account when I was preparing my list.
I have a quick question while Captain Henderson is here with us. Last time I talked to Dan, he was thinking that if possible, he could get a used SUV that would be perfectly fine. And at the time, and this was at least a year ago, he was thinking a number that was in the 30s. And- Huh?
I can address that.
Okay, good.
Yeah, as the fire chief, I'll address that. I've had that conversation with Assistant Chief Copeland, and it is very, very possible that we will pursue a used vehicle at a lesser amount for the Assistant Chief's car.
That would affect I think, people's rankings too. Would you throw a number out there for us that you think you could get a good?
I would say probably in the $35,000 range.
That's what I'm thinking. And I did some quick looking, but yeah, 35, probably nice.
It costs a new 1.5 roughly, the state bid on a Tahoe is at 41, but it cuts a brand new vehicle in half. And there's hundreds of them out there that are moving ready to the state.
I guess another way to look at it too is you could say, you know, provided we were able to come up with X amount of dollars of savings, you know, which of the bottom 5 would you rank the highest? You know, since there was some disparity between the department heads and us.
I'm sorry, say it again, I'm sorry.
I'm just saying, like, if, for example, we were able to come up with 50 grand in savings based on those assumptions,
Mhm.
I think it's fair to ask,
You think that would
Us.
change the ranking?
but no, I think it's fair to ask, if there's more money available, which of the bottom 5 would you put at the highest?
But I don't think you'd ever, we don't, there's $689,000 here
Yeah.
now.
Right.
We've only got 4.
It's not gonna,
We're not
we're
gonna
not
get
doing all
down.
17, that's.
I mean,
fine.
top 10 is probably the
What?
best.
Wait,
we
wait,
can
say
hope.
that again, Kelly?
I don't think we can do all 17.
Well, I think if we're able to do things like, if we're able to get the used car,
Yeah? Yes?
go ahead, Rod.
Hi. Just a point of input, and I don't know how all 17 ranked, but I don't know why we want to fund all 17, just period, because we don't know as priorities will change next year. If something becomes more important on an emergency basis, we need to slide in. So, I mean, I don't know, we should maybe just focus on, my input would be, as a resident, is maybe we just fund the top half, reevaluate it mid-next year to see whether or not those are still the next priorities to get addressed, but it's odd to, I don't know, fund low-priority items. That's it.
Well, the thing is, we didn't prioritize in the sense of you're low, you're high. We just rank ordered, is what we did. We asked everybody to just rank order them. So even if somebody ranks at 17, that doesn't mean it's a low-priority project per se, in my mind at least. You know, because we tried to, when we created this list in the first place, we had a meeting here to try and vet the numbers and make sure the numbers made sense and that projects made sense as well. So we tried to go through some of that, weeding out some of those things before we came to the final list of 17.
I do have another question. Are there any projects that have funds leveraged in addition to the Dale Park statuary?
The Dogwood Park parking lot.
The Dogwood Park parking lot?
I'm sorry, Susan, would you repeat the question?
Are there any projects that have funds leveraged?
Got grants.
Yes. And so if we don't put up that money, then we're not getting to spend those funds.
No.
I can't say that categorically. We may have enough matching to do it without this. We may.
The parking lot.
And that's where, if you remember too, that we called out 2 projects where we said maybe we should be looking for grants. Because like the shed behind the municipal building, I think it was a couple people have mentioned, there's a Hamilton County Waste Innovation Reduction Grant that we've received already you got that for
Yeah, for
the
the pool.
water thing at the
Yep.
pool. You can get up to $15,000. I went to the website and looked up the information and stuff like that. So we should be, in my mind, we should be applying for grant for that to try and cover a portion. If you can get 15,000 of the 50,000, that's great. And then we also talked about the Columbia Connector. When Matt provided that number, he sort of, and that's what I put in here, local match worst case, and then look for grant opportunities. I mean, I know.
I thought that project wasn't going to cost us anything.
No, that's never been the case. I mean, when we signed on to that project, we were, and Chris knows it better than I do, we were agreeing that we would pay some of the local match that comes out of Great Parks and Columbia Township and Mariemont. So, but what's unknown is, and we have the smallest piece of those 3, and it's only, is it 20% or 25%? I forget. 20%. So we have the smallest piece of that 20% of those 3 communities.
And do we get any credit for the, paying for the survey and all that?
No credit.
No.
No,
So that can't count toward our match?
no, that's design contribution, if you will.
So-
not construction.
So to Susan's question, then there actually is a grant behind the Mariemont Connector then?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That we would lose also if we didn't go execute that.
Well, and I'll even go so far as to say that we can rank what we want, but we've signed on that we're gonna do this. I mean, it's not even really it's not even something that is worth ranking. You might as well just put it number 1, because we already signed on and said we're gonna do it. We signed on with, is it with ODOT that we signed on with, but that we're gonna take care of our local match, so it's really not even a choice.
Is that a 2026 project, though? I mean,
Starts in
It will start.
2026. We don't know that's another aspect, we might not need that local match till 27, maybe, we don't know, do we?
We don't. I'm still trying to push it over the finish line with a bid date, so.
Right. So that's,
So I think it's important, and probably everyone does, but to distinguish between the Mariemont connector and the Columbia connector. People knowing which is which, because I
Right.
think some people
right,
don't know
Columbia
that-
Connector gets us from the library down to the Little Miami
Right,
Trail.
right.
So are there any other, so there are 3 there. Are there any other points of discussion that I think, that would inform?
I think we can
Final
take the
decisions.
park benches off. I mean, we had them all cleaned, and we have 88 park benches. We don't need any more park benches.
Right.
So I think if we strategically harvest for parts and upkeep, we don't need to, so we can take that off.
And that was at the bottom?
And that was at the bottom, that was number.
On both sides?
That was number 17.
Well,
That's
and
a
you know,
start.
if Ben gets 2 out of 3, Ben's gonna be happy, and that
Ben will
swing
be
arm
happy.
brush
Oh, I
mower
was scared of the swing
is
arm.
mostly for mowing, along
The bluff.
the bluff, so I think we could take that one off.
Good.
Mayor says yes.
Which one?
The swing arm.
The swing arm.
And I have to tell, I don't understand the shed. I don't know much about that project. I walked back there after we met, and it looks great. So I don't, the shed so what is that project?
Well, if you walk back there, did you look up?
There's a branch sitting on the building.
Yeah, but I mean, if you walked into the shed and looked up, you
Oh,
could see.
the shed was not open.
There's sunlight.
Well, no, wait, I'm not talking about the shed, I'm talking about the lean-to portion of the shed. That's what we're talking about.
The little
The
cantilever.
little lean-to, yeah, little, yes.
Well, that can't be $50,000.
No, Randy, that was just sort of, I got Sir Christopher Wren to come up with an outside number so I could work with something.
So you just want that little, we could probably do that.
There's a little more to it, but yeah, I guarantee you, I can probably cut that cost in half.
But that part of it's gonna be for the Mariemont
Sustainability.
sustainability project.
Yeah. We need a slightly bigger roof, we need concrete.
Just to make
but yeah,
people
it's
understand what
Nowhere
we're
near
talking about.
50 grand, trust me.
So, because a lot of these numbers are now coming down, right?
So that,
Which
so
is helps.
would you say,
30.
and is that section where we would collect recyclables?
Yes.
Okay.
And the composting stuff as well.
And the composting stuff, and we think would it be safe to say we could bring that to 30?
To do it.
The 50, that change it to
Yeah, I
30?
mean,
Well, because I'm not saying it's a slam dunk, but I think there's a extremely high chance that we could get the 15 from Hamilton County, because that just fits.
Perfect.
It fits
That fits their waste reduction innovation grant, and they love Mariemont, because we recycle more than any other community in the county, and getting into composting and stuff, I think, so.
I think the more we push the recycling thing, the better off we are,
So,
both financially and as a community.
So move that number to 20,000?
Well, I move it to 25, and then if you can count on the grant, then you've got it down to 10.
I'm sorry, we're talking about a shed, an extension to the roof with pillars and concrete.
Well, and some kind of cover, you don't want all your compost.
We
and
are,
stuff.
we're talking about that, but of course, I mean, there's grading to be done, there's walkways to be put in.
Okay, all right, so there's more to it. It's
There's
not
a
a
little
shed.
bit
It's
more
a,
to
it's
it.
a
Some-
Yeah, and-
recycling
And
center.
there's 2 big trees back
There
there
you
that
go.
have to come
There you
down.
So it's a
go. It's a
recycling, okay,
recycling
I didn't
center.
understand.
You can
Yeah.
take that out of.
That's it, that's a much better name.
Named.
Take a
yeah,
chance.
Yeah,
our
much
personnel-
better.
Right? 'Cause that's not a
Like
capital.
the-
project.
Recycling center.
We have
like the
all-
toddler aquatic
Okay,
center.
yes,
Sounds better.
exactly.
Okay.
We'll separate it out and call it that, yes.
Separate.
Chief, can you talk a little bit about the annual police car and equipment purchase? So, 1, is that an option for a used vehicle? And 2, what is the rationale behind the annual cadence?
Yeah, the marked police vehicles a used one is not an option. You're talking about vehicles that run 365 days a year. And so, like, if it was the detective's vehicle, then yes, we could get a used vehicle, but not the marked police units. I think it's essential that we go new with that. And Actually, I proposed, next year, and the cost will be the same, is to provide a police-rated pickup truck, instead of the, Tahoe. With the reason of, we have multiple, as you know, block parties, events that we have to set up, block streets, put, road closed signs. You know, we have, items that are found, bicycles, stuff like that, that we have to pick up and bring back here throughout the village, so that would make it so much easier to do that. And like I said, the cost would be the same. And, that vehicle can also be used as a road patrol vehicle because it's 4 doors. The only difference from it and the Tahoe is it has the bed on the back. Blue Ash has purchased 3 of them recently, and they're gonna purchase more. And if you look at Milford uses them also. So that's, Chevrolet and Ford has, went to, producing police, rated, pickup trucks. So I think one of those in our fleet would serve us well here in the village.
And what's the
as far
cost
as
of
the
that?
difference. The cost will be the same as what it would be for the Tahoe. So there's no added cost for that.
So we need like a bathroom break and stuff.
Oh,
like
you
that. We
do?
got about 4 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I did not
So
realize-
hopefully
Okay.
hopefully that explained that to you.
I did have the question around that, but that's okay. What I want to know, I'm looking at you, Rob, if you have thoughts on a fair next step, given that there has been a lot of conversation here and a lot of adjustments. What would be a fair next step that maintains our timing?
So to me, there's 2 things. One is if somebody wants to change their vote after this discussion, send me the spreadsheet and I'll update all this stuff for that. Second thing is, I think, it sounds like we've got a lot of different numbers. Now we can reduce this cost of some of these things. Like, so I thought I heard us say, remove the park benches. That's 5,000 saved. If we take the swing arm brush mower out, that's 16,000 saved. I heard we could take the municipal building shed to 25, not including a grant. So not including a grant, just saying if it's, is that right?
I think it's a better estimate than 50.
Okay. And then the assistant fire chief vehicle goes to 35? Did I get that
I
right?
think we can do that, yeah.
Okay. So
Dan and I've had that
Wait a minute.
conversation.
So that's down 30. And then the service, I was talking to Bill. Bill thinks the service department truck, he's been talking to Ben about getting that for less, more like around 90,000. That reduces by 33,000, so that's $109,000 that we can also free up for some of these projects as well. So
Okay.
that would be the second thing I would propose, is if you want to change your votes, send me the stuff, we can go ahead and do that.
And then we are committed to the Columbia Connector, so we have to.
Yeah, but
we
I
have
need to leave it on the list because it's part of the spending that we need to make sure we
Right.
save the money for.
Right, but I'm just saying, as far as ranking it, there's no
Yeah.
point in ranking it low, because we have to do it.
And that amount is worst case.
But it's possible
Right.
that could be divided into 2 years, possible.
Possible.
So then the next question is, because we need a quick break here, what is, in terms of the timing, what's the next steps? If you get updated numbers, what's next?
I can update this and send it back out where we can talk at the next council meeting if you want
So
to.
you want to do it at the full council meeting?
Are you okay with that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, great.
With updated dollar amounts so that Kelly can sort of see where things stand. And then again, second meeting in November is when we'll lock down, okay, here's what we're gonna fund for now. And again, I wanna make sure people understand, it's like it's not written in stone. To Rod's point, if something comes up,
Right,
we could sit there and say, okay, this one has to come off and this one goes in because,
I'm gonna,
thank you. I
just
got
save
it.
time, I'm gonna send everybody on council what the importance is of the pool money and what that would be for, because I don't think I communicated that well, so I just send that to everybody before they re-rank.
Thank you. All right, George.
please get me your stuff by a week from today, okay?
Call to order. Please join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Hare.
Here.
Mr. Bartlett.
Here?
Mrs. Brown Knight.
Here.
Dr. Lewis.
Here.
Mr. Van Stone.
Here.
Mr. York.
Here.
All right, council meeting from October 27th. Any question regarding those minutes? All right, I gave you the wrong date,
October 13th.
the 13th. Any questions regarding those minutes?
Nope.
No? That's unusual.
Okay.
All right, motion and second to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Second, Mr. Air.
Aye.
Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Ms. Brown Knight.
Aye.
Dr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone.
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye.
All right, we'll adopt those minutes. All right, in communications, we have Police Chief Hines' monthly report. Chief, do you have anything, commentary, anything to say?
Do not at
Yeah.
this time.
Can I add something really quickly? I just want to extend personal thanks because Mariemont Police and Fire Department had to show up at my house last week because the gas oven basically blew up and it was very scary, a lot of gas and a lot of open flames, and just an incredible group of people. I was so grateful. It's not easy. They had to walk into a house full of gas and open flames. So as we were sitting in the driveway, so I just wanted to thank you. And just everybody showed so much concern and were very kind to my daughter. And anyway, I just want to say thank you.
You gonna be
publicly.
good for Thanksgiving?
There's gonna be no
I do not
cooking.
have a new,
No cooking,
no cooking. Wouldn't that be great?
no cooking.
We get a new oven on Wednesday.
Oh.
So, and it's scalded. Everything smelled with, my whole house smells like melted plastic, but that's all
Yeah,
right.
it's a great smell too.
It's a lovely, lovely scent,
I
so.
appreciate that, Mr. Brown Knight. I've said it before, we've got, I think, the best of the best in our police and fire department. Our personnel is second to none, so thank you for that.
Yeah, showed up with incredible kindness and professionalism, so appreciate it.
talking to Dave Bailey downstairs.
All right, from building official Rod Holloway, we have his monthly report. Rod, do you have any comments to make? Commentary? None? Okay, all right. Any questions, Rod?
Is your projection of a good October for rental inspections holding up?
Yeah, we're doing really good on those.
Yeah, it's been a very busy October for rental inspections. We'll
Okay.
probably do 60
Great.
would be my guess for the month of October. So we may need to get Mr. McTighe to write a few more notes to other landlords soon.
Okay.
Good job. Thank you.
Cool.
We're at 200 roughly? Is that where we are?
By the end of this month, we'll be about at 200.
Very good.
Wow, congratulations, that's a lot of work.
Yeah, they're falling into place. Okay, permission to address council. Don't everybody get up at once.
Hi, I'm Erin from the Mary Elders. I think most of you know me, but in case you don't know me, I just wanted to come and talk a little bit about the Mary Elders and invite the community to our open house. It is on Election Day, so that's a good way to remember, November 4th. On your way back from the Columbia Township Community Room, if that's where you vote, just swing by Mary Elders. For those that used to vote at the library, that's where they vote this year because the library is under construction. So from 1 to 3, we'll have an open house. We encourage everybody to come and celebrate 48 years of people staying vibrant, being engaged, and connecting with Mary Elders. We'll have hors d'oeuvres and a golden gimlet for everybody to try out. So.
Should us old folks worry?
Yeah, sure. So Mary Elders is a senior center, and so we are a social group of folks. We do things like go to the river routes, or we just came back from Louisville. We went to the Halloween Spooktacular, which was actually really cool. We do things like provide rides to people who need rides around town. So if you need to go get your haircut or go to Kroger or go to a doctor's appointment, we provide those rides to members. And then we help people with resources for things like finding a handyman or needing help with securing food or paying their heating bill. We do educational things like history lessons or learning about aging well. We also have a durable medical equipment closet. So if you ever need a walker, if your parents are coming into town, or you find yourself needing a knee scooter and you don't want to buy a new one, keep it out of the landfill. Just come to Mary Elders and we just lend those out. So Mary Elders does a lot of things to support older adults in the community, 55 and older. So nobody on the council would qualify, but soon.
Okay, here comes the ask.
Yeah, here comes the levy.
The ask is to come to the open house. On election day, I figure it's easier to remember than November 4th, but it's on November 4th because that is our anniversary. It's 48 years of Mary Elders.
48 years. Oh,
48 years young.
all right.
Thank you.
Thanks for that report. Just to pick up on one thing that she was mentioning, and I don't know whether you're going to talk about it or not. Those who used to vote at the library will not be voting there. Will be voting at the old Madison Place Firehouse. The Columbia Township is completely renovated and redone, and it's very nice location. Okay.
On Murray.
On Murray, yes.
6904.
Okay. Well, you can't miss it. I mean, it's, you know. All right, anyone, were you gonna, did you have, okay.
I don't really have any major updates. I'm Andy from the library. Everything seems to be going as scheduled. We are getting the meeting room, so hopefully next year we will be back up and running for election, and it'll be easier to get in and out of the library because everything will not be blocked off for election day. So but that's all I've really got.
Okay, all right. Anyone else? Yes?
Hi, my name is Abby, and I work for UC on environmental and climate health, and I work for a center called C4 Health, and we are currently doing a survey to learn about the environmental and climate health exposures people around Cincinnati are facing, so things like mold, extreme weather, chemicals in products, a bunch of different stuff. And I am here today to ask to see if anyone here would like to take the survey. You have to be at least 18 and just live in the greater Cincinnati area. It takes about 10 minutes to complete, and you do get a $10 Amazon gift card sent to you afterward through email. It takes about 10 minutes, I think I said, and it's a paper survey that you'll write with pen and paper.
Well, how do we do it? I mean, do you have it?
I have the survey, yeah.
And you're gonna pass it out for those who?
Yes, I'll stick around for a little while afterwards so then
Okay.
we don't interrupt the whole meeting.
Is it available electronically too?
It's not, no.
Once it's filled out, then we scan it and mail it?
You
email
give it
in?
back to me,
She
so
said
you'd
do it
have to
after the
complete it
meeting.
today.
Oh, you're gonna do it? Oh,
Yes,
okay,
yeah.
yeah.
I'll stay afterward.
Oh, all right.
You should
Sounds-
pass it out now, none of us will pay attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's absolutely right.
Well, anyone who wishes to participate, and I guess you can get the members of the peanut gallery too.
Yes, yeah. I
Yeah.
told them to
Oh.
take
Yeah.
it.
It's a nice way.
They can start filling it out now. All right. Anyone else? No? Rod? Okay, any question regarding the bills, the bill list? Kind of big this month. Any questions? Part of the reason, I think, was there were a couple payments to the Dogwood Park project on
Yep,
there.
some big ones.
Yeah.
Yep.
Other than that, though, it's reasonably straightforward.
Related to the bills, Chris, how are we doing on getting the request for reimbursement on the second big bill?
You've submitted everything, right?
There's two
So
more.
I submitted the first one, and it came back that we had to change the percentage because there was a different amount in the agreement. But I submitted the second one right after that, and she said, you know what? It's complicated to get the money out of ODNR, so let's combine them and we'll do it as one request. So now we have $79,000 coming back to us instead of 59 and 37
So
or
you have
whatever it
the
was.
first two big bills covered.
Yeah,
All right, cool.
reimbursement request is in.
So I'm sorry, there was the 119,
119,
50, and then 58?
So the one night, so we can't, it's not a 50-50 match. Apparently, the original agreement was a 56%, 59.6%, so we'll get back 40.778%. I had to check my math as well on that, but that's what D came back with for an ODNR for the Land and Water Conservation Fund. So if you take the 119, take roughly 40% of that, that's what we'll get back. And then the second invoice was 75,000.
Yeah, I'm looking.
748.
I don't remember seeing that one. And then there's these 250 on top of that?
It's 50/58.
Yeah, those two plus, plus the 119 and then the 70.
75 something. Mm-hmm.
So Chris, in summary, does that mean for us to get the full $500,000 of the grant, we have to spend as much as we put in our original estimate? Is that why we're sort of stuck?
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris, quick other separate topic. The old Town Square parking lot. So, do we we made that change so that the apron part's gonna be
Yes, that was
asphalt
done
instead-
today.
It's done today.
It's done.
First, one side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, the apron off of Cherry Street is the one that's getting replaced, and we're removing the concrete past the sidewalk or the property side of the sidewalk. That'll become asphalt, probably Wednesday.
Okay, because that was gonna reduce the costs a lot, is what I remember.
Yeah.
But it's just like, that was almost gonna cut it, because we had a concrete bid,
Price.
and it was gonna be cut in about half, is what you said.
Yeah, because we didn't need that all to be concrete.
Yeah.
We'll just have the apron and the sidewalk, and then it'll go asphalt right after that.
Okay.
Yeah, but the change order to it, though, I mean, there was an increase over the original, it was $11,000 or
So-
something. We're just saving money by doing blacktop and not concrete.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
okay.
I'm just, versus the original, I mean, what we
Yes,
had
okay,
approved,
okay.
it will be cheaper, which
Just
is,
so we're all clear,
which is good for the permanent improvement fund as well.
very much so. Okay, thank you. All right. All right, well, then let's pay the bills. A motion is second to pay the bills.
So moved.
Second.
All right, Mr. Ayer.
Aye.
Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Brown Knight.
Aye.
Dr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone.
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye.
All right, pay some bills. All right. Next up, I think, is Randy, is your committee report regarding the tennis pro. I'm not sure, I guess that was tabled pending sort of the rewrite of the contract. Is that where that?
That was
where we
pending
trailed off?
review and approval by the solicitor.
Of the correct contract.
Of the correct-
Yeah.
Yes. And I just attached the wrong file. I'm looking at mine, and you guys are saying something different, so I
What's the matter with
apologize.
Randy?
Okay. Yeah,
So-
that, and the only other change that I'm making, like I said, instead of a 3-year, we're going to a 2-year. I'm satisfied with all the language. I did send an email around to everybody explaining this and my reasons, and I did talk with Mr. Russell. Everything is good.
Copacetic.
Okay, so we're all, that's why, because there's a legislation here of the first reading or whatever. so-
Well, yeah, that was
I
kind
just
of put
noticed
in
there'll be
as
some change down at
as
the
an
bottom.
example.
but-
Yeah.
But the years are, I left it blank myself when I sent it over here.
Okay,
We'll have the proper resolution next time.
That's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
So I just have a point of clarity, because the minutes we just approved, our solicitor said if council wants to have a 3-year contract for the tennis pro, that is their decision. So my question is it the mayor's decision or is it council's decision?
Say it again.
He said.
Directed to me?
Yes.
Are you asking me or are you asking?
I'm asking our solicitor.
No, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, what I said last time, I personally don't care if it's 3 years or 2 years. I think 2 years is more appropriate. Bill and I have had several discussions whether or not it should be a 2-year or 3-year contract. I looked through our code, the magistrate is limited to 2 years, the solicitor is limited to 2 years. There's nothing illegal about having a 3-year contract. But at the end of the day, the mayor is the chief executive officer, the one responsible for hiring and firing ultimately, obviously with the advice and consent of council. So if he brought somebody in here that wants to take it for a 1-year contract, you guys could either approve it or disapprove it. What we talked about, David Russell is more than happy with a 2-year contract. He tells the mayor he would have been happy with a 1-year contract. And I went, Rob, to answer your email. I've been very busy, but you sent
That's right,
an
that's
email
right,
about
that's
that.
right.
My file on this tennis pro is that
I know,
thick.
I know, it's, we covered it in.
Yeah,
a
come
ton,
on.
A ton, I agree.
You know, okay.
Yep.
And I just want to, my motivation for asking that is, and I've said this before, I have to respect the the racket club board, and they voted unanimously, all 5 of them wanted a 3-year contract. So that's my reason for pushing back, is simply to honor their request and to respect them as much as possible.
Understand.
Well, I'm going to withhold comment on that. I mean, my only thought on that would have been, it's fine that they think that. I just wish they had consulted with me first. That would be my only thought. All right, are we all good? We're gonna vote on this?
No, no, no.
No.
We're gonna
You're not
redo
there
it.
yet.
We'll have
Not there
first
yet.
reading
We have to have a
next.
resolution, right?
We have a resolution.
First reading next meeting.
All right.
The
Wait,
committee
wait,
report
first-
was
No,
voted
we
on
have
last week,
resolutions
so-
in here.
Yep. Well,
it's
that's not the resolution, though, if you, I
No.
mean,
It hasn't written
Confirm the appointment of David Rose, that's not the resolution.
And to authorize contract.
it is, but the dates are wrong.
Right, but you can amend it.
Amended, yeah.
That's
Okay, so
what,
we're
that's
gonna-
what, yeah. You still have the first
Well,
reading,
mine
you
has
can amend it.
2008 whited out.
Well,
That,
if
and
we
the
have,
bottom
if we
paragraph
have a
says
clean
3
copy
years.
for the next meeting, we'll be able to pass it this year. So, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but it's on,
Yeah,
it's
but-
already here, it's in the, and it was,
But it's not correct.
Yeah, let's just go with the,
Okay.
with the good one.
I don't.
Oh,
All right.
I'm just glad we don't have to talk about the tennis pro for 2
uh,
years.
You and me both.
I think that was the only, there were no other committee reports, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, all right, so moving on to miscellaneous, which is rather large this time. As most of you know, leaf collection, of course, is basically already started, and that will continue through December the 26th. So again, you're going to hear this every council, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say this, please don't rake your leaves into the street. We're going to be making extra effort this year. We will have 3 trucks out. We'll be making a bunch of guys doing the collection. So we're, obviously we're hoping that leaves aren't going to sit at the edge of your yard kind of a thing. And
so we are hiring contractors then to come?
no, we are not. No, we're gonna run it, we have our part-time extra guy. He's gonna be working, some of the shifts. I myself will probably also be working a truck. You're more than welcome to come with me.
Have it ready for 911.
Yeah.
All right, I mean, like I said, I'll be talking about leaf collection as we go forward. Like I said, we're gonna make a concerted effort this year to stay ahead of it. Beggars Night will be this coming Friday, October the 31st, and we'll be running that between 6 and 8. And I'm assuming the weather's going to hold, it should be really good for the little kids. The permanent improvement meeting will be held Monday, November the 24th at 5:45. What day does Thanksgiving fall in this year? Because it's not the
7?
It's a 27.
7th, yeah, okay. Well, now I lost my place. Monday, November the 24th at 5:45. It will be a regular scheduled council meeting beginning immediately upon, like we did in here tonight. Village offices will be closed November the 27th and Friday, November the 28th in observation of Thanksgiving. The December council meeting will be held Monday, December the 15th at our regularly scheduled time of 6:30. The Health and Recreation Committee, the request for additional board members for the Mariemont Racket Club. I thought we'd already done that, Randy. Did we already, we got the new members?
No.
No?
We need to update the
okay.
ordinance.
All right. Refer to the Safety Committee of the camera requests. Yeah, this camera request thing. Determine need for the the holistic and comprehensive solution across the village. Safety.
Sure.
You on with that?
Yeah, yeah, I'll say yes. I don't know exactly how we'll go, but the safety committee will go about it, but we can certainly look at it.
Okay.
See
All right,
if we can figure out how to do that.
Sure. Well, We've already, Randy and I already spent some time, you know, at the bell tower, and when was that,
Right.
Randy, like 18 months
We have,
ago?
well, I've got a
We-
couple bids I can show you.
And we had some good information about how it was
Do you
gonna,
have
the
bids
setup
from
and
somebody
everything
else
was gonna be.
that might- from what
Talking
they
about, what, you know,
gathered?
more within this building.
Yeah,
and
this
things
was
like
a
that,
year
so
ago or so.
you take a look.
So Mayor, I think that, did you want the ordinance to go to rules and law or to health and rec?
The ordinance?
To update for the additional board members for the racket club?
That could be a recommendation from your committee.
Okay, so I
Yeah.
did that. I did that in the committee report.
So all we really need are the names then.
But
No,
we
no,
have
no,
to
you
update
just,
the
you
ordinance.
need to, you
No,
need to
you
update
should
the
add
legislation.
somebody.
Legislation needs to be updated to include those rules before we can sit there and add somebody to that spot.
I can do that.
It just has to say 7 instead of 5.
Okay, yeah. You can write that up?
All right.
Yeah, because the committee report is already approved.
Okay.
Right.
The last
Yeah.
one.
We've agreed we're doing it. Yes.
Oh, good.
Yeah, okay.
And I have
So
it,
There, give
so you
the
don't have to
name.
look it up, so I'll send it to you. You can,
Even better.
Rock
Thank
and
you.
roll.
Appreciate it.
Hey, Bill, I think there's one other thing we should probably add to a committee. Bob, the waste and recycling thing, remember with Center for Local Government, how we tried to
I'm gonna
participate?
contact them December 1st.
Right, but we should put it into your committee to officially put, because participating with them for that.
Do we need to have a committee meeting to say for 5 minutes to do that?
Well, no, when you actually, so, because Kelly did this before. Kelly was leading the committee before. I mean, you participate in all those calls and everything else to make sure it's not a simple thing being part of the RFP.
Right.
So,
Right.
I mean, it took weeks. That's why they start so early. They start in January because,
I started in December is the last word I got.
yeah, so that's what I'm just saying. I think you ought to, based on what you just said, I would think you'd want to reach out to them in November because I think TJ is gone.
TJ is gone.
Yeah, so now you need to go find out who's doing that.
I understand.
So, but I think we should put it into the committee because it is you're going to be part of, Mariemont's going to be part of the bid, the RFP that's going to go out from Center for Local Government.
Can we do it right now with the whole council? I mean, to hold a meeting to do that,
No.
no,
it's just-
no,
We're just gonna
no.
put it in your committee and we'll talk about it, yeah.
You can go ahead and do it. You just go get the information. But the thing is it needs to be in the committee to actually participate in the RFP.
okay.
Yeah.
I don't know how we're gonna get by without you, Rob.
You'll miss me.
I am, I'm gonna miss you. I am gonna miss you. Maybe I can get you a little remote set up in here or something.
No, I'll just live on ICRC.
Yeah. Okay.
So I have something else.
So,
So 2 years ago, we went and presented to the Cincinnati Business Committee for the state appropriations. That's coming up again this year. So
Okay.
we need to decide, do we want to do it, A, and what do we want to do? Because what happened, I don't know if you've heard anything yet. They typically announce this and it's due in like 2 weeks. You get 2 weeks to turn it around.
well, thanks for the heads up.
Well, they haven't announced it yet. They'll
Yeah.
announce, well,
This is
this
the-
date, this letter from last year is dated November 1st. Everything was due on November 17th.
Okay, so what do we need to do then?
We need to decide, is there a project in the village that's worthy of a state capital appropriations, and what is that project? And then we need to put together, and I can do the presentation and do all that. But we just, as a body, need to decide what it is.
Have you got one in mind?
I always have one.
Well, then come on, lay it on us, let's hear it.
So,
Well, we don't have a bid, we don't have numbers for the concourse yet. I wish we had numbers. We may, soon.
When you say now, what are you talking about? You talking about
Not the inside,
yeah, the
and we
trees
haven't,
and the,
no, we haven't even talked about it. No one's really seen all that. So
Okay.
that's clearly,
But the park board's been working on that, right?
Park Board's been working on
Yeah.
that, but it hasn't been vetted, but we haven't seen it. I mean, I've seen the preliminary stuff, but this body has not seen any of that yet.
And when was it due last year?
17th of
So
November.
there sounds like we could have it in time for the
It's, yeah,
first
that,
council meeting in November?
we could, if that's what this body wants to do,
well, we should definitely be trying for this.
you know, is that the project?
It's a good project.
we have to pick one project.
Well,
Is that?
in
What are
terms
the
of the
criteria?
criteria, it might be, but it is certainly the folks want economic impact. So that might not be something that would appeal to the CBC
Oh, that's a good point.
in terms of priority projects.
Well, our angle 2 years ago was
Yes.
job retention, retention of
Yeah.
talent, you know,
This is a
a
place
jewel in the
where-
crown of the Queen City.
Yeah.
So, but it needs to be something that's far enough along to be able to have some data to be able to present, right?
I think we'll have that.
They've got, I mean, they have
Concept.
renderings, they have
Yeah.
plans, basically. I mean, I've seen them as
We
well.
got pretty
It was at that
pictures.
meeting. Yeah.
Yeah.
We
that-
drew
that
pretty
was
pictures, I've seen
Yeah.
them.
The pretty picture, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I think Randy, you'll do a good job presenting anything. I don't know if there is another, I think you should do, if there is not another project that drives, that is more directly related to,
The criteria.
yes.
Economic.
Yeah, if we could find some streetscape or, I agree with you. This
Yeah.
is, when you look at their criteria, this is,
I have one thought, but I would need to do that offline. Do we have time to then bring it back?
Yeah, we said we can do it, right,
Yeah.
because the timeline should be okay. First
Maybe
council
we can
meeting is
caucus
November,
At the end
Sure.
of this meeting,
November 10th.
Yeah,
Over the
yeah,
10th
We
is
can
the
be
first
talking,
council
yeah,
there might be something,
yeah. I think I know what you mean.
yeah.
can we tuck away the Bill Brown Memorial box in the middle of the island out there?
You know, what
know,
a Scrooge, what a
the
true
kid-
Scrooge.
No, I said bury it, because we've talked about
Oh,
that
you're
in the-
talking about the oh, God, listen, if I have to take more flack about that.
But the kids did
I thought
all
you
the
wanted to
fire
try- I thought you had
hydrants,
some
why
ideas
can't
about trying to
they
lower
paint
it
that?
hey, Bill, there's
I-
only two or three more meetings.
Yeah, but every
Three.
Parks Board
Three.
meeting that I attend, you know, they ream me
Three,
one
we're
side and
counting,
the next
Randy.
about that. Yes, I mean, I'm looking, they're looking, we're all looking.
I'm actually being serious about if you're trying to look about streetscaping, is that one of the things you'd want to try and do?
Bury it?
Not bury, you can't bury the whole thing, but
You-
Bill
you-
got some ideas about
You-
ways
the
to be
only-
able to reduce the
The
profile.
only option, the only really remaining option, if we're not gonna decorate around it, we're not gonna paint it, would be to literally move it off-site. And yes, that would add up into some real dollars. Sure. Yeah,
Doesn't seem like a priority.
yeah. But we can,
Thanks for flagging that, Randy.
yeah, there may be another project on mind here. So,
I agree with
No, if
Susan,
you
it
guys
seems-
think of something else.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. Well, we'll
I know I
talk.
sprung this on you,
Okay.
but it's, I don't want to miss any opportunities,
No,
so.
yeah,
And plus, if we go and they say no, maybe they say yes next time.
yeah, yeah.
And it's only every 2 years.
Okay.
We're boring the audience.
Have we- Yeah, they're
Chris
walking
is.
out.
Wait for me.
Wait, I'm gonna sing in a minute.
It's a short meeting. Just
Move along.
the first one.
All right, I think, can we finally move on to resolutions, because we have a lot to get through, and I'm hoping we're going to put a bunch of them together, correct? All
Okay,
right,
this is a third reading to confirm the reappointment of Michael Lockhart as swim pool manager for the calendar years 2026 and 2027.
all right, that was the third reading. Motion and a second to confirm.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Air?
Aye.
Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Ms. Brown Knight?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
Okay. This is a third reading to reappoint Andrew Seeger, Steve Spooner, Mark Glassmeyer, John Fakes, and John Morgan as a member of the South 80 Trails, Gardens, and Park Advisory Board for the calendar year of 2026.
All right, motion and a second to appoint
So moved.
or adopt.
Second.
Mr. Air?
Aye.
Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Ms. Brown Knight?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay. This is a second reading to reappoint Barb Whitaker and Larry Gray as a voting member of the Tree Advisory Board for the calendar year 2026 and 2027.
All right, second reading, we'll have the third reading next meeting.
All right, this is a second reading to reappoint Mary Ann Prue as a non-voting member of the Tree Advisory Board for the calendar year 2026.
All right, second reading, next meeting.
Okay, this is a second reading to reappoint Dave Middleton, Scott Remmer, Steve Pipkin, and John Schultz as a non-voting member of the Tree Advisory Board for the calendar year 2026 and 2027.
All right, second reading, we'll have the third reading next time.
All right, this is a second reading to reappoint Mike Sunderman, Tom Eckhart, John McElrath, and Greg Wells as a member of the Parks Advisory Board for the calendar year 2026 and 2027.
All right, second reading, third reading next time.
All right, this is the second reading to reappoint Tina Getter, Douglas Emke, and Brad Lockhart as a member of the Architectural Review Board for the calendar year 2026 and 2027.
Second reading, third reading next time.
This is second reading to reappoint Hillary Leppa, Linda S. Bartlett, and Kim Beach as a member of the Mariemont Racket Club Board for the calendar years 2026 and 2027.
Second reading, next reading, third reading next time.
Right, this is a first reading to reappoint Matt Tripepi as a member of the Mariemont Racket Club Board for the calendar year 2026.
Okay, first reading, second reading next time.
All right, this is a third reading, a resolution authorizing application and contracting with the Ohio Public Works Commission.
Okay, third reading, motion and a second to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Air?
Aye.
Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Ms. Brown Knight?
Aye.
Dr. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone? Mr. York?
Aye.
Okay.
First reading to increase the tennis fees for the 2026 season.
All right, next reading, next time. All right. I hesitate to ask if there's
No,
anything else, given
no.
that it's a very long
Don't-
meeting.
Don't ask, just
No?
just
All right.
gavel.
We're adjourned.